Halt for a moment, Rangers. I think that was of it. But I have not seen any sign of Durkoth.
Pitiful Thorman. Had you learned to look in ambition towards the skies more, you might have noticed me. But you were always so down to earth. Come on, you maggots. Mow them down.
Stand your ground! We cannot yield.
If you ever get to see it, you'll be in
I thought they were just...
For the Shire!
I'll get you for that.
Direct hit.
So lucky next time.
Your half-life
My men. My bones are not yet broken.
come out. Shadow.
That's the super touch!
This land is not yours to claim!
Fight this for your blood.
Make your choice. Tell your dad.
You're nothing compared to me. We're too much.
Nobody.
Healthy You managed to sneak a strike in. I'll get you for that. Filthy worm.
I should have expected that.
I'll get you for that.
Wait! Thorman and Foradont are trapped!
What a proper display of power. By blade and by arrow you have truly felled my men. But there are more where they came from. These underlings I could spare. They require no more investment than a dull weapon or leather jacket. Dear Thorman, I think you still haven't learned. Even here, at this moment, I doubt you suspected anything. And with all your experience, you really should know by now. The worst wounds are inflicted from within. I will miss you, but your memory I will cherish. You were a worthy adversary. But more importantly, once you were a good friend.
Do not speak of my end so hastily, brother. How many more dogs send us? We can hold off here all day. Foradont, look around for a lever or pull chain.
I'm sorry, Captain. I'm sorry, Thorman. You really should have listened to me. Listened more carefully. It wasn't enough. We weren't winning.
Thorman, no!
The time's called for action, but you stalled. Wanted to gather information. It was all too late. Durkoth is too strong, but we can join him. Save this place from a greater evil.
One last thing remains. Foradont, if you want to be my lieutenant, I trust you can take care of these other wretched fools.
I'm sorry. You have no idea how much pain this brings me, but my master must be obeyed. Don't make this any harder than it has to be. Surely you can see that I don't want to do this, I have to. I've gone too far to turn back. Another time, another place, I would have believed you. Now, hope feels like but a dream. I know what it is you want of me, but it is not something I can do. You'd be willing to show me forgiveness after I just killed Thorman? Then we have no time to waste. In a few minutes, this tower will be crawling with ruffians. I can't continue. Say what you will, I cannot enter our old base again. Those holes are too deeply tied to Thorman in my mind. I fear to pick up the threads of my old life. To try life as a ranger again, knowing that things will never go back the way they were, I don't think I can do it. I have a lot to think about still, I suppose. I'm leaving the Shire. I need a quiet place to think about who I am and what I've done. But please, if there's anything you need to know, just ask. I just wanted things to change. There was so much troubles in the Shire, and Thorman was mostly just gathering intelligence. He sent me on so many scouting missions. I saw so much wrong in the world. But all Thorman ordered was more scouting missions, more preparations, base repairs. I asked him about it, and he said we could do only so much. Durkoth, he said that we could join him. I would be in charge of the Rangers instead of Thorman, and I would finally be able to do some good, to make a difference. I was speaking to him even before you arrived. He spoke soft words, said he wanted to end the conflict. He said that Thorman wasn't doing enough, that he wasn't a capable leader. When he made you a ranger, that was enough for me. This wasn't how I wanted to live my life. This isn't what I believe a ranger should do. He never told me much, just what I needed to know. I'm aware that Durkoth is not quite in charge of his campaign, though. Even chiefs have chiefs of their own. Thanks again, Outlander. It is because of you that I have this choice. I'll never forget that.
That sneaking, filthy Foradant! I hope he will rot hereafter! Of course. But I won't forget Foradant, Shire. Our leader is dead because of him!
Enough of your bickering. Our company is wounded. We have lost not one but 2 members, while our enemy grows in power. We must remain united now, or give up altogether. It is now time for mourning. Let us regroup at the base to decide on our plan of action. I welcome you all back home on this dark day, but we have no time to grieve long over Thorman, or even Foradant. Our enemy has revealed himself and issued a threat. How can we respond other than face him? But first things first, we require new leadership. Who is willing to take up this responsibility?
I will not. My past should be sufficient reason why I would not like to be in charge of a group of warriors. I require someone else to make the decisions for me.
I don't think I'll stand a chance here. I have insufficient experience as a ranger, let alone as a leader. I know I have a big mouth from time to time, but I also know myself well enough to understand that I could not take up this task.
What about you, Outlander? Are you willing to take up this responsibility? I think you show wisdom and courage to decline leadership. I am inclined to claim it as my own in your stead, although I do not truly desire it. Are you comfortable with this outcome? I welcome your faith, and hope to attain as much myself. Now that we have re-established the chain of command, let us discuss how to proceed. If we don't decide on our next action soon, Durkoth will be allowed to enslave all of the Shire for his own benefit. Let's discuss among ourselves what our plan should be.
Before we talk about our mission, I must admit, I'm quite surprised you let Byercell take command. I figured you'd try to secure leadership for yourself. You struck me as the type who would do that. I'm glad to say you didn't. I'd rather follow Byercell's lead, and I would have challenged you along the way anyway. Strike! And strike swiftly! I can't put it any simpler. We need to take Durkoth out before he does any more damage. And he has inflicted so much pain already. If it were up to me, I'd lure him out of his hole and eliminate him. You know, I won't deny that I could always agree with Thorman's decision, but he was the best leader I could imagine. It's hard to think about how we might progress from here on. It's like the foundation of our company is cracked, and we're shaking in the wind. To be honest, I could think of no other way to honor his memory than by completing the mission. So I want to focus on that for now, if you don't mind. I don't want to speak any more on Foradon than I need to. Honestly, what was he thinking? He knew he shouldn't trust Durkoth. I don't think I could ever forgive him for his foolish actions. I know I would have never done the same were I in his shoes. Allow me to be totally honest with you. I've been sneaking out of the base from time to time. Not just to escape my chores, but I also wanted to hone my scouting skills, and I've seen the men Durkoth employs. They aren't the sharpest tools in the shed, if you know what I mean. I think we could take them out quite easily, and that would diminish the grasp that Durkoth holds over the area. Our enemy might be a bit more defenseless then.
I applaud your restraint, and for allowing leadership to pass on to Byercell. I think she is better suited for the task. No offense meant, but you have only just been a ranger. I would have followed you nonetheless, but I'm glad I do not need to. Now, let us discuss the matters at hand. I think there is no time to delay action. We need to track down Durkoth and cleanse this land of his shadow. The longer we wait, the more innocent lives he corrupts. The halflings know nothing of conflict. I am aware that our numbers are low, but this is no excuse for cowering and hiding, or refusing our responsibility. I will miss him, I'm not ashamed to say. Thorman was my beacon in the darkness that surrounded me since my early childhood. It will be difficult for me to adjust to a life without his counsel, but I'm sure I will manage. It is time I face these demons myself. And I am fortunate to have a strong group of companions surrounding me who will aid me in my recovery. I would like to forgive him. I know he is not truly to blame for his actions, that his mind was poisoned by Durkoth's silky tongue. But I can't help but feel anger towards him. I trusted him. I thought we were alike. Now, this thought frightens me. Should I be less trusting? Do I have to restart all the progress I made since Thorman took me under his wing? I have no answers for these questions. Durkoth won't fight an honest battle. Look for shimmering shadows and illusions of the mind. I think Durkoth got involved with some ancient and dark magic. I know little of how to counter these tactics. Luckily, I should have no trouble with his minions.
And so we speak again, but now I am suddenly captain. I remember when we first met, when those Thalmor attacked me. How much has changed. I never wished for this position, but I'll make the best out of it. We should not act too rashly. Yes, I am aware that there is little time to be lost, but we cannot allow ourselves to lose any more members of our company. Needless to say, the safety of the people of the Shire is at stake, and it is our sworn duty to protect them. So we act, but we need a plan before we blindly assault Durkoth again. I cannot express how much I will miss him, but he understood the risks of his duty, and he would not shy away from it. That is how I choose to remember him, and that is how I will honour his memory. The way he died should not defile the way he lived. Let us be inspired by him, even after his passing. I feel sorry for him. I know he desired a more proactive attitude towards the events in the Shire, but he allowed himself to be poisoned by honeyed words. I wish I'd picked up the signal sooner, and looking back, I admit that there have been clues. Perhaps I had been too optimistic, and assumed that my unshakable trust in Thorman was universally shared. I only know that he cannot be trusted, and that his men are loyal to his promises. Perhaps we can undermine his authority, or show that he is not as all-powerful as he presents himself to be. Even better would be if we could call the people of the Shire into action, that they would rise against their would-be master. But I fear Durkoth might have some surprises in store for us, some that we cannot anticipate. All right, I think it's fairly obvious by now what we should do. A frontal attack at this point is unwise. We should try to weaken his efforts in the Shire. If we can cut off his supply lines, hinder his workers, and stimulate the resistant spirits of the halflings, we might be able to strike him down in a weakened state. So go out into the world, all of you, and do good wherever you can. Sabotage Durkoth's efforts to draw him out of hiding. We have a chance, I think, but we cannot delay. The time is now. Speak to me for leads on how to oppose Durkoth's minions and slaves. Something on your mind? I'm not sure we can anymore. Maybe Thorman's death opened my eyes, or perhaps I just wish the barriers between us didn't exist. But they do. Now I see that more than ever before. The race of new Nemorians is dying out, and the recent loss to our company is only accelerating the process. If we were to be together, I would not uphold my responsibility to develop an heir. I'm sorry, Outlander. It wasn't an easy decision to make. I hope you understand. I'm sorry. I cannot deny that I've often felt the same, but maybe we weren't. Perhaps, if times were different, it could have worked. But alas, that is not the hand we were dealt. What do you want? Several ways. For starters, we can spy on Durkoth, get a sense for the finer details of his plans. Next, some of the occupied towns should be liberated, and the towns on the verge of occupation defended. Aside from that, the enemy's forces could always be cut, or at least slowed down a bit. And releasing the halflings they've locked away couldn't hurt either. Excellent. Durusk has reported a lot of activity near Durkoth's tower anyway. Whatever his next move is, he intends to make it quickly. I know I may be asking a lot here, but I want you to find out what he's planning. Unfortunately, that means sneaking back into Durkoth's tower, through the heart of his ruffian military, and spying on him. Not a task I can ask of you lightly. For any other outsider, perhaps, but your fate is intertwined with the Shire in a way I didn't think possible. You, of anyone, can do this. Through a series of well-placed bribes, I have acquired a new identity for you. How would you like to be a ruffian? Have you forgotten? You're infiltrating Durkoth's headquarters, and you're supposed to be careful. I think it would be best to leave the liquor here. I knew you'd agree. You weren't much more than a bandit when I found you, after all. Never mind. That's why I leave the jokes to you. Anywho, your name for this is Lacey. You're a slob from Bray who just wants money to go out drinking. Here are the papers you'll need if anyone gets suspicious. Remember, look around Durkoth's hideout for any clues on his next move. And one last thing. Don't let Durkoth see you. The ruffians may not know you from past experience, but he does. Good luck, Outlander. And keep safe. I don't want to have to come and rescue you myself.
You're almost dead already.
What? Who's out there? What? Lacey's already in here. Oh, wait. What's that? You're Steve. Well, why in the bloody Shire didn't you tell me? Nit-witted new recruits. Lacey. Wait, isn't you supposed to be down in Patmeet right now? We certainly don't want any well wishes from down there. Well, he didn't tell me about none of this, but I suppose it couldn't hurt nothing. All right, let me unlock the door. It's unlocked. Come on in.
Master, with the Ranger captain out of the picture, conquest of the Shire is inevitable. Your boss will be pleased.
Do you think I care if he is impressed? His approval is not what I seek.
Of course, Master. Some of the boys said Thorman begged for his laugh when he was betrayed. Begged! Pathetic Rangers think they're so.
Do not exaggerate the death of my brother, as if I am blinded to the truth. And that goes for the rest of you too. The next one to mention a ranger's fate will join him. Is that understood? Now get back to work. I need this tunnel completed soon, if any of you are to keep your heads.
Oh, good, you're back. I was getting worried. What have you found? What? Why would he do that? But that doesn't make any sense. Wait, north, you say? By Cedar's air, he means to conform with the goblins. Hopefully, it means he's trying to clear them out. But in reality, I fear they have joined forces. The goblins already have a thriving nest of tunnels underneath the Shire. If the ruffians gain access to them, they can travel great distances underground without our knowing. Nothing. Not now. But we do know that an alliance is possible between them. That is vital information. Once again, good work.